Well, welcome into this Cox 7 Sports Special, the Arizona Rattlers 2012, the road to ArenaBowl 25. Alongside Dale Hillestray, I'm Kevin Ray. We'll be joined by our partner Chris Harris in a few moments. But we're going to be taking you through an unbelievable Rattler season here in 2012 as we chronicle the run to ArenaBowl 25. And Dale, you know, a lot of emotions, a lot of impressions coming out of this campaign.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. You're coming off an ArenaBowl loss. You got some new players. Things are different. Can you get back there? And really, the season started with one goal in mind, and that's winning the ArenaBowl. So that means if you don't get back there, the season's not a success, and this Rattler team did not disappoint.
A lot of great games along the way as this team would begin the 2012 season out on the road against one of their arch rivals, the nemesis from San Jose, the SaberCats. And wow, talk about beginning the season with a bang.
Yeah, coming out with this loss to San Jose on the road, played so well all game long, and at the end, San Jose finding a way to win it. You're wondering, this Rattler team, are they still going to believe in themselves, or are they going to find a way to come back? Because San Jose, Arizona is as big a rival as there is in arena football.
But we did get a chance to see in that opening game the newest weapon for Kevin Guy in this offense, Maurice Purify, the reigning Rookie of the Year. He did not disappoint, but they fall. They return home, though, hosting Spokane, who just a few years ago, the shock claiming the ArenaBowl crown. But it was Nick Davila and this Arizona Rattlers offense. And the team, they staked their claim to the 57-53 win, and proving once again the Snake Pit a very difficult place to win.
Maurice Purify, as we're going to see all season long, coming up with big plays. But the defense is what is going to ultimately win you championships. It started right there.
Next up, it was Aaron Garcia. Didn't retire after throwing that game-winning touchdown in ArenaBowl 24, but he's wearing a different uniform and a very different result as the Talons were absolutely bludgeoned by the Rattlers, one of their better performances as they cruise 68-34.
That will be a familiar sight. Quarterbacks getting knocked down. This defensive line, as good as there was in arena football, this defense playing well, and you can see the offense showing spurts, showing signs that they're ready to get back to that top-notch level.
And that was certainly one of the focuses in the offseason, is retooling that defense. The offense, well, it didn't need to be retooled. He's got some new weapons in 2012, but Nick Davila certainly knows what to do with them. Kerry Reed and Maurice Purify, as week in and week out, proved to be one of the game's very best.
Another disappointing, tough loss to the San Jose SaberCats, leading into the fourth quarter. San Jose coming back and making some plays at the end of the game.
One of the great things that we would identify about this team is their ability to have short-term memory. Following that very difficult loss, they come back and play the most well-rounded game of the season, just completely dismantling, at that time, a very good Chicago Rush team.
You see the 43 points there. Again, another dominating effort by the defense, making plays, and then Trandon Harvey. What a spark he was during the middle of the season before his injury, not only in the return game, but from the slot receiver spot.
That game, part of a 7-game win streak. They were hot. They would then host Utah at home, got a chance to clinch the division crown yet again with a victory, but not on this night. It was a very much improved Utah team from the club they saw back in May when they put 80-plus points on the board. Tommy Grady and company just shredded that Rattlers defense, and they walk out with a very impressive win.
And you see that set them up to have to sit and hope for Utah to lose to Philadelphia.
That did set the stage, and of course a lot of people very concerned, was that going to be the last time they would see the Rattlers at home? But as we would find out, Utah could not take advantage on the road, and it was the Rattlers who come through, and they're able to find a little love on the home field as we roll to the postseason. And once again, setting the stage for a big showdown, and I guess in many ways, kind of ironic, but it had to be this way, it seemed, as San Jose stood in their path once again.
As good a defensive performance as I think you've ever seen from the Arizona Rattlers, just constantly harassing probably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in Arena League, Mark Grieve. Defense just suffocated them. Offense putting up points, but once again, come the fourth quarter, San Jose has the lead. Can the Rattlers find a way? This time they did. What a huge character check for this football team. And Keith Brown, in my mind, the play of the year right there, interception return for a touchdown, and the Rattlers move on.
5 fourth-down stops in that contest, and it was the Rattlers who would prevail and sets the stage for a rematch. Third meeting of the season, but this one, well, this one's for the big ticket to New Orleans. The winner heading to ArenaBowl 25, and the Rattlers set the tone early. Odie Armstrong rumbling 40-plus yards, second offensive play of the game, and the Rattlers striking quick. The defense coming back. Keith Brown again, and recognized for his play all season long. He's an all-league performer. Gets the return. Looked like it was going to be easy, but we should have known better because the Blaze, a very different team from one we've seen in recent years.
The one thing Coach Guy preached all year long, he wanted this team to be physical. And boy, were they physical as this season wound down. Again, another character check. This season didn't come easy to the Rattlers. Last year, almost too easy on their way to the ArenaBowl. They had a lot of character checks. They found a way to win football games and found themselves heading back to the ArenaBowl.
Using every single second, they captured the victory. And yes, they have stamped their ticket off to New Orleans as they bring home the National Conference Championship trophy once again. So, the Rattlers, with that victory, setting the stage, making their 7th ArenaBowl appearance. Can they claim the 3rd title? That would be the question as they would take on the hottest team in the league, the Philadelphia Soul. When we come back, a recap of ArenaBowl 25. Well, welcome back to the Arizona Rattlers 2012, the road to ArenaBowl 25. Hope you're enjoying this Cox 7 Sports Special with Dale Hellestray. I'm Kevin Ray. We've taken you through the regular season and the playoffs. Now it's time to talk about the big game, ArenaBowl 25. Being held in New Orleans, Dale, the Rattlers getting to the title game for the 7th time in team history, but only 2 titles. So the question going in against a very good opponent in Philadelphia, could they finally get that big gorilla off their back and claim the 3rd crown?
Well, remember, coming into the season, they said ArenaBowl victory or bust. If they don't win it, the season's going to be a disappointment. Kevin Guy instituted a curfew all week long. It was viewed as a business trip. They went out and played the game of their lives on Friday night in New Orleans.
Yeah, and as it would turn out, Dale, business would be very good down in New Orleans. Let's take you to the highlights here for the Arizona Rattlers in ArenaBowl 25, taking on Doug Plank and the Philadelphia Soul. Great crowd down there. Coach Kevin Guy getting his club fired up.
He's as excitable a coach as I've ever seen in any type of football. This team came out, loved the white uniforms, by the way. They look sleeker, look faster, but this team came out and played the first half of its lives. Maurice Purify doing another fantastic job, doing a wonderful job offensively and defensively.
Yeah, the defense really setting the tone. You see Ross rumbling in, had an incredible regular season, 5th rushing touchdown of the postseason there. But really, that was about the only fireworks that we would see out of that Philadelphia offense. But Nick Davila, talk about a guy shaking off the horrendous start to the postseason. You think back to week 1 of the playoffs, San Jose, he had 4 interceptions. But tonight, it was ArenaBowl who had a nightmarish performance running into the likes of Keith Brown and company.
I don't know if there's been a run of games defensively in ArenaBowl like this defense put together, and the offense stepped up in the ArenaBowl. Maurice Purify, Nick Davila back on the same page again, and as electrifying a duo as there is in the league, fun to watch, and now it's just having fun for the rest of this game. As again, we continue to talk about it. Keith Brown, another interception, just doing what he did all year long. Sometimes you wonder about young players in big games. Are they going to be able to do the same things they did all year long? The answer, yes.
Yes, even the Soul Sisters had a hard time staying up with this one. And typically, a time-consuming drive in arena football is about 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Not the case here. The Rattlers gobbled up the clock to close out the first half deal. 4+ minutes. They get the field goal. They begin the third quarter with the football. And really, I thought that proved to be the big difference right there as they took the ball down the field and scored, and Philadelphia was trying to play catch up the rest of the night.
Well, if there's one thing you look at this Rattler football team, they allowed some teams back into games as the games went on. The Rattlers made sure they did not do that this game. You see a special teams play here. The offense scores on their first series. They came out in the second half with a vengeance and said, let's put this team away right now so there's no suspense once we're in the fourth quarter. You see the score there. Just an absolutely spectacular performance all the way around.
Yeah, set the tone early, and kind of ironic, they had their problems much of the season in special teams, and special teams would come through in a big way on this night for Kevin Guy, Ron Schertz, and this very proud Arizona Rattlers organization. Their first Arena Bowl title since 1997, and man, they do it in dramatic fashion. You see Davila with a big night, Maurice Purify with 7 touchdowns. And on this night, it was the Rattlers who prevail. And just a night later, as they return to the Valley of the Sun, well, a lot of very happy Rattler fans showing up at Sky Harbor Airport to welcome home the champs, and rightfully so. Cliff Dukes and company thrilled to see their Rattlers faithful.
Kept fighting all year, man. Like I told the media at the game, we were battle tested. And you know what? When you get battle tested, you're going to come out the fire stronger, and that's what we did.
We knew what the ultimate goal was, and that was to win the championship. And to have it after what happened last season it's amazing.
It's kind of like the culmination of everything, hard work. Losing last year from us dropping our heads last year with 2 seconds and walking off the field with just that empty feeling to the complete opposite feeling. I mean, I don't want to be cliche and say it's hard to describe, but honestly, just from us being a family as a team, it's just like a big accomplishment for your family. And then to have, I mean, we have fans waiting for us at the airport. So just the city of Phoenix, you know, it's big for all of us.
The guys that came back, we knew what we had to do. We didn't want that feeling we had last year, and we came out, jumped on these guys early, got physical with them, and it was just, I mean, we just played a great game all around.
A lot of very happy players, as you might imagine, and an even happier head coach and owner. And we'll be joined by Kevin Guy and Ron Schertz when our sports special continues here on Cox 7. Well, that is what they all covet. That's right, the Foster Trophy in the house. And the one team that got it, that would be your Arizona Rattlers, claiming the Arena Bowl 25 championship trophy. We are here in the house and back here on the Arizona Rattlers 2012, the road to Arena Bowl 25, and some very special guests, Dale Hellestrate, myself, Ron Schertz, and head coach Kevin Guy. Guys, thanks for joining us here on a very special week as this celebration continues.
So the week continues.
It has been absolutely unbelievable, and really as we go into it, a special season because it was the silver anniversary season of Arena Football League, the 25th year, and I think in a lot of ways makes this championship all the more special.
Well, you know, Kevin's going to jump in there, but the thing totally lined up for us. Obviously, that very first home game we weren't supposed to have. We got to get a little bit lucky down in San Antonio for us to get the second one, and then, you know, Kevin's best game with his players was the Arena Bowl. I mean, we got after it, and it's, I think, you know, kind of what's happened the last couple of years. We've been pretty doggone fortunate to get the job done.
And coming off of that heartbreaking loss in 2011. I mean, you guys called it the Redemption Tour 2012, but it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy. We had a lot of moves that we made in the off season and just trying to keep the guys focused, but there was some determination there with those guys. They wanted to get back and play for that championship.
Let's go back to the beginning of this season. You have some new players, obviously coming off the loss in the Arena Bowl at the last second. As you were coming into this season, what were you preaching to these guys?
Well, we felt like we had a chance, you know, but we had 50% turnover on our roster too. We had a good group of core guys, but I felt like we did a good job of adding some free agents. That were some pieces that were very important. And then we got lucky. We picked up some rookies that came in and established themselves in a good way.
And certainly one of the most significant signings was that of Maurice Purify. Take us through that process because you guys were very instrumental in getting Mo, and I think really tugging on his heartstrings, and that's what you've got to do when you're going out there going after players.
Well, it is, and Coach called me and said, kind of an inside joke. He said, Maurice is available, Purify's available. He goes, let's see what you got. That's what he said to me. And so we flew into Lincoln and spent the day with Maurice, and there's no question it was part of that process because I'm a Husker guy, and he's a Husker guy, and so I think ultimately that probably became one of the clinchers that it was more than just about football. It was my conversation with him. It's about what's going to happen after football. Come out here, let's build this brand that we start to get going, and let's get this thing done with a ring.
Coach, I have one more question for you as we're kind of running out of time. As you went into the ArenaBowl, you and I talked throughout the season. You said last season maybe was a little too easy for our team. This season obviously not as easy, some road bumps. You think that helped get you over the hump?
No question. I felt like the adversity that we had throughout the season made us better as a football team, and it kept us focused and got us focused at the right time. And just the discipline that I saw in our team the week of the ArenaBowl, I was pretty impressed with.
And that is one thing, the discipline that you had. You instituted a curfew. Is that unusual?
Unusual for the whole week.
Yes.
But we usually just do it the night before the game. But we, met with the captains earlier in the week. We discussed it. It was important to the players, and they wanted to make sure that everybody down there, we were going down there for the right reasons. And I was very happy with the way they went down and started the game and played throughout the whole game.
And Ron, extremely successful in business. How have you been able to translate the same kind of business plan / game plan in business and now move it over into arena football? Because you and Kevin obviously on the same page, and the fruits of your labor paying off.
Yeah, I don't know that I can take that credit. My job's obviously to provide some direction, and our conversation early on was, you take care of the football field and let me try and manage it outside the football field. And Joe Wyndham's done a great job for us. And last year in May when we had the press conference that I was the official majority owner, it was about getting this brand back. And you guys know the story. I'm a season ticket holder since '92, and I wanted to experience the '90s again. And that's exactly what I said at that press conference last May. And it was let's regenerate the excitement. This city deserves to have a champion, and the Rattlers have a great brand, and we got her done.
Congratulations, and we'll look to 2013. It's going to be here before we know it. Get your season tickets, Rattler fans. All right, stay with us. Much more straight ahead on this Cox 7 Sports Special. When we come back, we'll be joined by Chris Harris as we look back at some of the great season features.
So anyway, a lot of these guys, put your hands to the side. Right. All right, just for a second.
Okay.
All right. So a lot of these guys think they, hands to the side.
Okay. How about this?
I don't think, no. Okay.
Well, welcome back to the Arizona Rattlers 2012, the Road to ArenaBowl 25. Kevin Ray, and I'm joined on set now with Chris Harris. Of course, got our Cox broadcast kicked off each and every week for Rattlers games, hosted the pregame show, and of course you saw him roaming the sidelines there at the Snake Pit. Not only in the sidelines, but getting down in that players pit. Great area. You hear a lot of chirping going on down there. A chance for you during the course of the season, getting to know the ownership, the coaches, but more importantly, those players.
And that's right. These guys are great players on the field, but they're great guys off the field as well. We had a chance to show you that in some of the featured stories we did this season.
All right, guys. Hey, I want to thank you for coming out today. My name's Kevin Guy. I'm the head coach for the Arizona Rattlers.
And I will always love you. I check to make sure that my doors are inflated all the way before I foam.
Just like football, working with metal has its own rules of safety.
I remember when I was first learning to use the plasma cutter, I had my foot under the table and some of the melted metal went down and got caught in my boot. So I was jumping around, trying to get it out.
What did that feel like?
Oh man, painful.
What is it that you hope to accomplish with these kids?
I mean, honestly, we have 138 kids enrolled right now. If I could help inspire 15 of those kids, it would be a huge accomplishment.
Guy also spent 4 years in the AFL as a wide receiver and defensive back before turning to coaching. Have you seen the game tape on him?
Nah, I'm trying. I want to see the game take on him because I heard his shoulder pass was like huge.
You sure can right now. I'll tell you this right now. Guys around here, they've been stuffing the turkey a little bit too much. But as long as we stay together as a team, we'll be there in the end.
All right, appreciate it, Coach Guy.
You're welcome. Have a great one.
This one right here. And don't forget about the lip, too.
Take 6. This doesn't seem all too hard to me.
He looks in the mirror for about 10 minutes before practice. Let's not talk about the game. The game takes about 20 minutes to get his makeup and everything already.
Hold on. Practice?
We're talking about practice, Tyree.
Not a game.
Not a game.
Practice.
Practice.
That's what it's about as a professional athlete. It's about giving back to the community and especially to the kids. There you go, there you go. Chest up, chest up.
Brandon Harvey's going to jump into the end zone, and it's going to be an Arizona Rattlers touchdown.
Well, clearly the KG impression pretty solid, but I would have to give top marks to Odie Armstrong's rendition of the Whitney Houston hit there.
That rendition was one I've never heard before, but he pulled it off pretty well.
He did, and who knows what we might hear from Odie down the road. When we come back, though, we're going to hear from a couple of guys. Well, they have certainly left an impressive mark in Rattlers history with their play through the season and the postseason. Nick and Mo when we return. Well, welcome back to the Arizona Rattlers 2012, the Road to ArenaBowl 25. We are joined on the set here not only by the trophy, but some very special guests as well. You know, there have been some great dynamic duos in Rattlers football history, but these two guys, Dale Hellestray, might very well rewrite the Rattlers history book, talking about, of course, Nick Davila and Maurice Purify. Gentlemen, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Well, let's talk about, first off, the season before we get to the championship game itself. Unlike 2011, this season was filled with potholes, with injuries, a lot of things to overcome, but I thought your comments were right on the money, battle-tested, and boy, did it show in that championship game.
Yeah, all year we've had a lot of stuff on and off the field, a lot of injuries, and we were battle-tested. And unlike last year, we kind of went through the season with not too much adversity. We had a lot of adversity this year, and that tests our character, and it did, and we came out on top, so it was good.
Maurice, let's talk about your season. You come in, Rookie of the Year last year, you get to join this team. You saw them last year go 15 wins and fall just short in the ArenaBowl. You said you thought you could make a difference. What attracted you to the Rattlers?
Just about how much fun they were having last year. I was out there in Georgia. You look up arenafootball.com. You see at halftime they have teams 48 to 13. I was like, they got to be having fun out there. So I just wanted to be a part of it.
And you know what I think impressed all of us is how quickly you and Nick got into sync with one another. I mean, how quickly did you two realize and get that feeling like we got something pretty magical here?
Well, it's pretty easy as a quarterback when you throw him a 5-yard route and he takes it to the house. But he does a great job of getting on top of toes of players. And when you think he's covered, he's kind of like a basketball player where you can go up and get it. And it's just having the trust factor, like we were talking about earlier, knowing where he's going to be. And that's more than half the battle when it comes to the quarterback and receiver being on the same page. So we got on the same page pretty quick, obviously.
You know, you pointed it out that you guys had adversity this season, and it wasn't as smooth a ride as last year and probably paid off at the end. But the other thing Coach Guy really emphasized to us, the media, was he wanted you guys to be physical. And you really brought that even to the wide receiver position because you were looking for people to run over, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to give my teammates something to
pick their spirits up, wanted to play harder, and any way I can do it, I wanted to do it. And if that means run over somebody or take a 5-yard hitch, 40, it's just doing whatever it takes for the team to win.
One last quick question. After your touchdown celebrations, you're throwing the ball up into the stands. I'm wondering, were you kind of afraid of his arm strength? He's thrown up in the stinking second deck.
I still owe him, what was it, $20? $20. We had a bet earlier in the season who can hit the football bag from about 40 yards. So he keeps saying he'd take my spot. So, but I told him I got great hands too. So we'll see.
Coach Guy gave me an opportunity and I blew it. You know?
That's right, against Utah.
And I know you guys represent the offense, but some quick comments about your defense, because you go to that San Jose game, and without that defense, we're not sitting here today.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. All year they've been playing outstanding, and they got stops after stops against San Jose, and we were struggling a little bit. I had four interceptions, and when you play quarterback, you got to take care of the football, and they did a great job all year of having our back, and we finally had their back when it counted the most.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Guy. Well, as you might imagine, in a season like this, there were just a few highlights, so without further ado, let's dial up our plays of the year.
Dowdley across the middle, Reed there, touchdown Rattlers. Here's Grady on 4th down, looking. Pass is intercepted in the end zone. Game clock down to 4 seconds. Gonna have to work quickly here. Dowdley gets the snap. Looking, purified, touchdown, Arizona.
Well, there it is. They brought home the trophy, the 3rd in Rattlers history. Thank you again, guys, for a very special season. Already looking ahead to 2013.
Well, thank you guys for having us, and the fans were a part of it just as much as we were.
All right. We thank you for joining us here on Cox 7. For Chris Harris, Dale Hellestray, I'm Kevin Ray. We'll see you next year with Rattlers football.